removed basically everything because I'm just going to let you handle the vast majority of this. I'm just going to show you how to do everything. And then you can do it on all the rest of the material. So you're going to have to use all of the different countries. I'm just doing it with 2 as an example. All right? So part of this, in fact, a lot of this process is just figuring out how to clean up all the data. So I've downloaded the data from the modules, the Excel or the YouTube, the YouTube dataset zip file. You can just get it from there. You don't have to download it from Kaggle. It's already in the modules. In fact, it's a lot easier to download if you just use the modules. So I downloaded it, and let's say theoretically that it only has US and Russia in it. It actually has several other countries as well. You're going to need to use all those countries, but for this example, I'm just going to use US and Russia. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get rid of these JSON files. We don't need them, and they'll actually kind of screw us up later on if we have them in this folder. So all the different JSON files for the different countries, go ahead and remove those. Again, remember you're going to have to use all of the countries, not just the 2 I'm using here. It's important to remember that. If you use only these 2 countries, I'll just count it wrong and you'll have to do it again. All right, so we're going to take a look at these countries using Excel to pull all this data. So if you've never seen this before, you don't know how to use Excel very well, this will be new to you, but it'll actually probably be very helpful in the future if you're doing any kind of data analytics. So I just have these in my downloads folder in a folder called YouTube Datasets. I need to remember that because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull and transform that data before I can use it. So in Excel, I have this new workbook open. I'm going to select Data, and then over on the left-hand side, I'm going to select Get Data. From here, I'm going to hover over from File and then select From Folder. This is going to allow me to pull all of the different data sets inside of that folder and combine them and transform them. I select the folder that I'm looking for, YouTube Datasets, and click Open. Now it'll ask me, do I want to use these? Is this right and everything? I say yes, I'm actually going to combine them. And I'm going to use Combine and Transform Data. Excellent. So it's going to start combining. It doesn't matter what the sample file is, since the data is the same style across all the different data sets. Thankfully, we don't have to clean up too much. We can just remove some things that we don't need and whatnot. But for our purposes, the data is basically identical across all different values. So click OK. And it will open up. Move it into the other window. It's going to open up this transformation window. Okay, this is Power Query. So what we need to do now is we need to remove columns that we don't need. I don't need the video ID column nor the trending date column. I do need the video title and the channel title. I don't need the category ID, nor the publish time, nor the tags. I do need views, likes, dislikes, and comments. I don't need thumbnails, comments disabled, ratings disabled. I don't need any of that. Description. Don't need any of that stuff. So I'm going to select all those different columns, and I'm going to click Remove Columns. All right, that leaves me with the source name, the title, the channel title, the views, the likes, the dislikes, and the comment count. All right? So from here, we need to start cleaning up our data a bit. I'm going to start removing things that are not useful to me, and that is things that have null values. So if we have a null value in views, I don't want to use it, so I'm going to click the little drop-down window next to views and click remove empty. All right, it's going to remove anything that has a null value in that one. I'm going to do the same across all of my numeric values here, all the way through comment. All right, excellent. So now anything that has a null value across any of these can be removed, or will already be removed once we load this data set. Now, I'm going to select the 3 identifier columns, and I'm going to use the group by function to transform this. So I'm going to go under the transform tab. Technically I can click this, but it's good habit to go under transform and then select group by. Okay? So I'm going to select group by, and it's going to pull up the group by window. Make sure that it is under advanced. When you have 3 columns, it should automatically show advanced, but if you've accidentally selected one, make sure it has advanced and that you have all of these added to your grouping. So what this is going to do is I have a lot of duplicates in this listing. There's, in fact, oftentimes there's 4 or 5 or even 10 duplicate records. And that's because part of the way that this data is organized is based on date that something was viral. I don't love that, so I'm going to just go ahead and remove it. I'm going to not remove it, but combine it. So I need to create 4 separate rows, and each one of them is going to be related to my numerical columns here, or 4 separate columns rather. So I have a column called views. I'm going to call this one views. I'm going to sum the column views. So what that's going to do is for each duplicate in this grouping, it's going to sum the values and views for it and combine those. I'm going to do the same for likes. I'm going to sum likes. I'm going to do the same for dislikes. I'm going to sum dislikes, and I'm going to do the same for comments. I'm going to sum the comment count. Okay, once I've done that, I have my 4 numerical values there. I have my grouping values up here. I click OK, and it runs the process, going ahead and going to sum those for me. When I have that done, I'm basically done and ready to load in my data. So I'm going to go back home up here and click Close and Load. And once I do that, it will take a minute, but it's going to give me a table filled with all of my data. I can go ahead and close this query connection right there. And now I have my data table. I can move this around if I want to, if I need a little bit more room. Doesn't much matter. But I have here my summed views, likes, dislikes, and comments. So now I can get down to the actual questions of the data set. I'm exploring the data set. So we have 5 questions that we need to handle. We have calculate the total number of videos available for each region, calculate or identify the region with the highest and lowest number of videos, determine the total number of views, likes, and dislikes, and comments for each region, calculate the mean number of views, likes, dislikes, and comments for each region, summarize your findings and key insights from the descriptive analytics performed in a Word document. So I'm not going to do the Word document portion. I think you can do that yourself. I'll kind of talk about where to pull screenshots and stuff. But I have faith in you that you'll be able to do that. Do not write too much, okay? I just need the questions answered. So give me good answers to the questions. I already know what the answers are, so give me the answers to the questions. I don't need it long and drawn out. I just need the specific answers to these questions. So let's start by pulling a pivot table to answer some of the questions. So to do that, we're going to click Insert, Pivot Table. It's going to automatically select the entirety of my table here, and that's good enough. for me. So I'm going to do this in a new worksheet because I don't want to crowd this worksheet that I'm working in. And click OK. And now we have our pivot table area. So the first question here is identify the region with the highest and lowest number of videos. So I'm going to grab the source name, that is the name of the countries. So in this case I have Russian videos and US videos. That's how I know which one is which. And I can actually, if I just want to pull the number of videos for each region, these represent individual videos themselves, individual records themselves. I could just count the source name, or I could count the titles. I'm going to count the titles in this case. So we're going to grab title, and we're going to grab it and drop it down here into values. So it's going to automatically decide to do a count of the title. So how many videos are there? Well, there are many more videos for Russia than there are US. So with just these two countries, I'll say Russia has more and has the most, and US has the least. Now when we add all the other countries in, that is probably going to change, but for now, this is what it is. Let's see if that changes when we use a count of the source name. Count of the source name, you'll see that when we counted source name, because the source name actually is at the head of each one of those records, we ended up getting the same number for both of those. All right? So that's as simple as that. So I will go ahead, I'll remove this one. So to answer this one, this first question, identify the region with the highest and lowest number of videos. I've done that with these two countries at least. I could take a screenshot, a very small screenshot, not the whole window, just a small screenshot of this, and add that into my Word document, and then say the highest is Russia and the lowest is US. All right, so now the next one is determine the total number of views, likes, dislikes, and comments for each region. Okay, so I have views. I'm going to drag that down here to values. For numbers like this, what it does is it automatically sums, adds a sum for these numbers. That's pretty useful to me. That's what I want right now. So I'm just going to drag each one of these down, and it will give me the total for each one of these. If this isn't super readable to me, I can always change the format of these numbers. I can always say, I actually want these to be like numbers with maybe separators or something like that. I don't need any decimal places, but maybe I need some separators to be able to tell the difference between these numbers. Like so. And this is just an option. If you can tell the difference, then that's fine. And if you can report the difference accurately, that's fine. So, there you go. So in this I can clearly see that the total number of views for each region, here they are there, the total number of likes, total number of dislikes, the total number of comments. Of course, when I have more of them, you'll see all of them there. I can take a screenshot of this table as it stands, and I'll have all the information to answer that question. So now we want to answer the fourth question, which is calculate the mean number of views, likes, dislikes, and comments for each region. Well, mean, specifically here, it relates to an average, so we can just calculate the average for all these. And I could re-add them or do something like that, but it is simpler to just come down here, click the little drop-down menu next to each one of these values, and change the value field settings. You can change them here. You can also change them up here. And so we can just change them from being sum to being average, and that will change that. Each one of them we can change to average. Here we go. And so now we get to see the average views likes, dislikes, and comments for each one of these. Now that's all that we have to do. For this one, homework is a little bit more complicated. It involves doing some extra material. But for this, this is basically all the information that we really need. Put in these screenshots. Remember to put in any information that is necessary. Don't just put screenshots. Also type in the information for each one of these. You can just copy the numbers in. However you want to organize it, just remember, don't write me a novel. Just put the information that I'm asking for in. You'll summarize this in a Word document. Just submit the Word document. I don't need the Excel spreadsheet to be submitted along with it. There you go. Thank you so much.